August, and you're listening to This Is Who I Am on Kerrang Radio with Josh and Dan from YMAS. Fans of the band will already be familiar with one of Josh's family, his sister.
My sister sang on our song Always Attract. I think the song would still be a popular song in terms of YMAS popularity. I think it'd still be like a popular song to play live, but I think like the reaction that when we do a show and she walks on and sings with us, like the kids just freak out. They're like, this is awesome, because I think it's quite a cool thing when like two members of the same family are, on the same bit of music. And I think the song would still have been like a popular song, but because of the female voice in the background, I think it just kind of gave it something, it added a new dimension to our band as well. So she was the kind of person, like she always seemed really happy when she was playing on her piano and singing and stuff. And I thought, I want to be that happy, and I want to be able to sit down and kind of write down my feelings in a positive way. And so I realised that like playing music was actually really therapeutic, and it's a way of kind of letting out loads of different kinds of emotions. And I saw that when she played her music and when she sang, so I just started doing it. And she'll always come in, I'll always go in when she's playing and be like, that sucks, or that's cool, or whatever. And we always kind of like pass on our opinions on each other's kind of work. And I think that's a really like positive thing. It's definitely like contributed in terms of YMAS and the maybe not the quality of probably on my behalf the quality of the stuff that I put forward to the band. It's because she'll always kind of give me a little nod of approval. Like I just played her some of our new songs a few weeks ago, and she's like, that song's amazing, that song's awful. And like it's cool because it's like I really value her opinion, so if she says something's good, then I know it's good.
He'd grown up listening to the music of his sister, but what band changed Josh's life?
The one band that changed my life actually came a bit late on in my life. Like I can't believe I actually survived being a music fan without this band being in my life. Jimmy Eat World, like to this day I don't understand how I never picked up on them sooner, because they are the band, they are my band, they are the band I love. They're one of those bands that's very good at doing very, very simple stuff, but just adding in like little intricate parts that make the song, that take the song to a whole new level. Like when I listen to that band, like I'm the kind of person when I listen to music, I listen to the lyrics, like more than anything. But I just think Jimmy Eat World, they always write good songs, and every album, like very few bands can step it up on a new album. Like we're struggling at the moment. We're trying to write an album. Not that our first album was that great, but we're trying to write an album that we think is better than the first one. And it's like, but they manage to do it every time. And every time I think they top off what they did before. And I think that's the sign of a great band that can continue to write great music. And they manage to stay current as well. They're like in their 30s and they're still writing music that 15 right up to 30-year-olds are listening to.
The band formed at school but weren't getting anywhere till they sacked their drummer.
We played for about, I guess, a year and a half with another drummer called Joe. That's the first time I've ever mentioned his name in an interview ever. We did this show in Leeds. We got for the show with Sayerson in Leeds, the Cockpit. And after the show, I was talking to the promoter of the show, who also happened to be putting on this festival called Slam Dunk Festival. And Real Big Fish and Paramore and stuff were playing it. And I was just like, is the bill full? He's like, yeah. I was like, I reckon you could probably squeeze us on. He's just like, what do you mean you reckon? I was like, well, I think you should put us on the bill. But yeah, and so I managed to get us on the show. And like, I remember the day of Slam Dunk, it was about 9 o'clock in the morning. We were driving up to Leeds, and we picked up everyone up in the van, a rental van, and we got to Joe's house, and he wasn't remotely ready. And the one, like, I'd done everything else, like, merch-wise, and one thing I asked him to do was, like, some CDs, and he didn't bother to do it. And then he kept us waiting outside in the van for 45 minutes whilst he went off and bought cigarettes and did this and did that. And I just realised that day, I was like, if on the biggest show of our lives, to that point, you can't get your together, then you've got the problem, not us. And, like, I just felt that, like, I really believed that, like, we could maybe do something with this band. And I just thought, because at the time, you're playing in front of 3,000 people in Leeds, you're thinking this is a big deal. And I just thought, if he can't take it seriously now, then when will that day come, kind of thing. And he was a good guy, and like, I hate it when people say, oh, it's not you, it's me. But in this case, it was definitely not me, it was you, and it was kind of like not a bad thing, but we just need to kind of do it properly, so we gave ourselves a chance to be in the band.
Enter new drummer, Dan.
We had 2 practices just as a band, and then 1 practice with Josh, and then we went and played the Underworld, which is probably one of the band's most important shows to like
At that time.
at that time, definitely for getting started, because there was about 100 industry people there. Sold out show, 100 industry, like the people who are now our agent and our press people, they were all there, and like after that show they took on the band. And so for me, for my first show to play the Underworld sold out to all these people was pretty scary, but it went down really well though.
Just a few weeks after drummer Dan joined, things suddenly started to happen for the band.
For some reason, one day I was sitting on MySpace, like our emails and stuff, and there was an email from a journalist at Kerrang saying, you know, I've checked you guys out, would you guys be interested in organising an introducing piece? And that was in about March, April 2007, and that's when I thought, yeah, this is awesome. And then just kept on. It's weird actually, our agent, he was our agent now, I'd been emailing him like non-stop with no reply for about 6 months, and then from nowhere he replies to my first ever email. I was like, that's a bit rude. So he did get them, you know, and he was just like, oh yeah, I want to come down and watch you guys play. And like, this is the guy, he does like Fall Out Boy and stuff, and I was just like, this is, you know, so good. And that's kind of when we all kind of realised people were taking a bit more notice of us when that kind of stuff happened, because it gave you the confidence. It was like, okay, so you're good enough for these people to come, or you're creating enough of a buzz that people, you know, you probably have way better things to do, want to come down and watch you play.
But not everybody in the rock community has been thrilled for them.
It's strange because a lot of the bands on the UK scene are like, we're friends with quite a few of them, but there is definitely a lot of animosity kind of in our direction. Like, that was evident, I think, this year when we played Slam Dunk Festival. We headlined it, and I think for a lot of the UK bands, there was so many UK bands playing it. It was awesome to see that. But I definitely got the feeling they were all sitting there thinking, how the hell did this band get to headlining this festival? At what point did this happen? And like, we found ourselves asking that question before we went on stage. We were like, we are about to headline 5,000 person festival, which, you know, is no Reading, is no whatever, but in this genre of music, to these 5,000 people, it is a big deal. Like, Slam Dunk Festival today is a big deal. I think people are always going to be jealous of people that are doing